Let's talk about sustaining an incredible workplace culture. Building an incredible workplace culture is a significant achievement for any organization. However, sustaining that culture over time is an even greater responsibility. Many organizations begin their culture journey with great enthusiasm. They introduce values, leadership programs, engagement initiatives, and recognition systems. For a period of time, energy is high and people feel inspired. However, sustaining culture requires something deeper than enthusiasm. It requires consistency. Culture does not remain strong automatically. It must be reinforced through everyday actions, leadership behavior, and organizational systems. Incredible workplaces understand that culture is not a one time initiative, it is an ongoing commitment. Let's understand the cultural drift. One of the challenges organizations face over time is something called cultural drift. Cultural drift happens when the behaviors and values that originally defined the organization slowly begin to weaken. This may happen for many reasons. Organizations grow, new teams join, leadership changes, behavior, business pressures increase. As these changes happens, attention may shift away from one culture. As these changes happen, attention may shift away from culture. For example, leaders may begin focusing only on short-term results. When that happens, behaviors that once defined the organization may slowly fade. Incredible workplaces remain aware of the risk. They regularly reflect on whether the lived experience of employees still reflects the organization's intended culture. We are going to talk about the protecting cultural foundations. To sustain an incredible culture, organizations must protect a few core foundations. These foundations act as anchors, keep culture stable even during periods of change. Some of these foundations include a clear and meaningful organizational purpose, visible and consistent leadership behavior, open and respectful communication, fair and transparent decision making, a recognition of behaviors that reflect cultural values. When these foundations remain strong, employees understand what the organization truly stands for. This clarity creates stability and trust. Let's talk about the role of everyday leadership. Sustaining culture is not only the responsibility of senior leadership. Every manager in the organization plays a role. Managers influence the daily experience of employees more directly than organizational policies. Employees interact with their immediate managers far more frequently than they interact with their senior leadership. Because of this, the behavior of managers has a powerful cultural impact. Managers shape culture through everyday actions, such as how they communicate their expectations, how they recognize effort and achievement, how they respond to mistakes, how they support team members during challenges, and how they encourage collaboration. When managers consistently demonstrate the organizational values through their behaviors, employees experience culture in a very real and tangible way. Let's talk about continuous learning. Another important element of sustaining culture is continuous learning. Incredible workplace make an effort to stay connected to employees' experience. They create opportunities for employees to share feedback, ideas, and concern. This may include pulse surveys, feedback discussions, leadership forums, uh, employees listening to the sessions. Listening helps leaders understand how the culture is evolving. It also helps organizations identify concerns even before they become the larger issues. When employees see that their voices are heard and respected, they feel a stronger sense of belonging. Now, we are going to talk about reinforcing culture through recognition. Recognition plays a very important role in sustaining culture. When organizations recognize behaviors that reflect their values, those behaviors become more visible and more common. Recognition does not always need to be formal. Sometimes simple appreciation can reinforce culture effectively. For example, a leader acknowledging teamwork during a meeting, a manager appreciating an employee's effort to help a colleague, highlighting examples of collaboration or innovation. These moments reinforce what the organization values are. Over time, they help shape the everyday experience of employees. See, sustaining an incredible culture is not about perfection. Every organization faces challenges, pressures, and change. What matters is whether leaders remain attentive to culture even during the difficult times. When leaders continue to communicate clearly, listen to employees, reinforce positive behavior, and demonstrate consistent values, culture remains strong. Incredible workplaces are not defined by occasional initiatives. They are defined by consistent leadership, meaningful relationship, and shared commitment. When culture is sustained in this way, organizations create environments where people feel proud to work, confident to contribute, and motivated to grow. And that is a true sign of an incredible workplace.